Welcome to Globewise Entertainment, your ultimate portal into the wild, the weird, and the wonderful corners of classic cinema. Today we're blasting off into the far reaches of retro sci-fi to uncover 14 hidden gems, forgotten cult classics, strange cinematic experiments, and obscure treasures that shape the genre in ways you never imagined. From surreal alien worlds to dystopian futures, these films are bold, bizarre, and begging to be rediscovered. If you love classic movies, cult cinema, and stories Hollywood doesn't want you to remember, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Tell us in the comments, which sci-fi gems surprised you the most? Or which one are you adding to your watch list tonight? Let's dive into the unknown. 1. The Quiet Earth, 1985, A Solitary Awakening. When Zach Hobson opened his eyes that morning, the world was silent. No hum of engines. No chatter of voices. No news, no sirens, no birdsong. Just the wind whispering through empty streets. The clocks worked. The power still flowed. But every human being gone. Zach, a scientist working on a top-secret energy project, was left alone in a world suddenly emptied of life. His mind raced as he wandered supermarkets, libraries, airports, each abandoned like a ghost town. Panic gave way to madness. He dressed in royal robes, declared himself president of Earth, and shouted into the sky for answers. But beneath his growing despair was a darker truth. He may have had something to do with it. As days bled into weeks, Zach began piecing together the terrifying implications of his work. The effect, as he called it, hadn't just removed people. It may have shifted the very nature of reality. Then one day, as isolation hollowed his soul, a miracle. Another survivor. Then another. They were drawn together by fate, or perhaps by the same phenomenon that broke the world. But even reunion couldn't bring peace. The event was returning. And this time it might destroy everything. In the stillness of a shattered Earth, Zach faced one final choice. Watch the universe collapse or stand alone against the unknown one last time. 2. Phase 4, 1974. When ants became gods. In the vast, scorching deserts of the American Southwest, something unexplainable began to unfold. Something no human eye had ever witnessed. The ants had changed. Not just their behavior but their intelligence. After an unknown cosmic event, colonies of ants, once mere mindless workers, began building geometric towers, communicating across miles, and evolving with terrifying speed. Their hive mind had cracked the code of thought, and now they were testing it. 2 scientists, Dr. Hubbs and James Lesko, entered the desert to investigate. What they found defied logic. Silent coordination, precise destruction, and symbols carved in sand that spoke a language of war and warning. The ants weren't just adapting. They were planning. As the researchers set up their high-tech dome, hoping to study the enemy, the ants surrounded them, not with rage but with eerie patience. Machines began to fail. The desert closed in. Time itself seemed to bend under the weight of something far greater than human understanding. One by one, nature's balance collapsed, and man realized too late. Evolution wasn't waiting. It had already begun, and we were no longer at the top. 3. The Man Who Fell to Earth, 1976. A short sci-fi tale inspired by the 1976 classic. He came from the sky with no sound, no fire. Just a figure, tall, pale, with eyes that flickered like twin suns. He called himself Thomas Jerome Newton, but no one suspected that name belonged to another world entirely. Thomas walked into the world of humans armed with blueprints, patents, and an otherworldly intellect. With his alien technology, he built a corporate empire in months. The goal? Construct a spacecraft and return home. His planet, dry and dying, needed water. Earth had oceans of it. But the world changed him. As he bathed in wealth and human pleasures, the lines blurred. Liquor dulled his alien mind. Love tangled his mission. Greed and suspicion from governments turned allies into hunters. Soon they caged him. Testing him, watching him, erasing every trace of his identity as a visitor from the stars. Years passed. Alone and forgotten, Thomas sat by the window of his high-rise prison, watching the rain streak across the glass like tears he could never shed. He still dreamed of home. But Earth had claimed him. 4. A Boy and His Dog, 1975. A post-apocalyptic tale. The world was ash and dust. After World War IV scorched the earth, the cities crumbled, the sky turned gray, and what was left of humanity scattered into the wastelands. Civilization had fallen, but survival still had its strange rules. Vic was a teenager who had never known peace, never heard music that wasn't static, and never trusted a soul, except one. His companion wasn't human. It was Blood, a genetically engineered dog who could speak telepathically and had a nose for danger and women. They roamed the radioactive ruins together. A hardened boy and a wisecracking dog with a bond stronger than loyalty. They scrounged for food, avoided gangs, and explored the cracked skeleton of what the world used to be. One night, beneath a rusted water tower, Blood growled low in his throat. A trap. A girl. Too clean. Too calm. She led Vic to an underground civilization, safe, organized, but chillingly artificial. It was a place where smiles were painted on, rules were absolute, and love had become a program. In the end, Vic had to choose. A life of comfort in a fake world or the savage freedom of the surface with his only real friend. He chose the wasteland. Because sometimes, in a world gone mad, a boy and his dog is the only thing that still makes sense. 5. The Andromeda Strain, 1971. A silent invader. The desert town of Piedmont, New Mexico, was deathly still. Dr. Stone stepped out of the black helicopter into a ghost town. The ground was littered with bodies. No signs of struggle, just eerie silence. He adjusted his biohazard suit, heart racing beneath layers of protective gear. Something was terribly wrong. 2 days earlier, a military satellite had crash-landed nearby. Moments later, every resident of Piedmont dropped dead, except a crying baby and an old drunk. Now deep beneath the Nevada desert, inside the secret underground lab called Wildfire, a team of top scientists raced against time. They analyzed the satellite, discovering a microscopic crystalline life form, Andromeda, unlike anything on Earth. It could mutate, adapt, and kill in seconds. No heartbeat, no blood pressure, just death. As panic built, the team discovered Andromeda thrived on synthetic materials and was evolving faster than they could study it. Worse, the automatic nuclear self-destruct sequence of Wildfire would only feed the organism, not destroy it. With seconds left, Dr. Hall, the lab surgeon and lowest-ranked scientist, crawled through a maze of security lasers to disable the bomb, succeeding by a heartbeat. The organism, strangely, began to mutate again, this time into a harmless form that consumed rubber instead of blood. Earth had narrowly escaped annihilation. But as the Wildfire team looked into the microscope one last time, they realized something terrifying. Andromeda wasn't done evolving. It was just getting started. 6. Quatermass and the Pit, 1967. The Martian Legacy. Inspired by Quatermass and the Pit, 1967. The pounding of drills echoed through the ancient clay beneath London's Hobbs Lane. Workers stumbled upon something not listed on any blueprint. A strange metallic object buried deep in the earth. At first, they thought it was an unexploded bomb from the war. But this was no bomb. It was older. Much older. And it wasn't human. When Professor Bernard Quatermass arrived on site, he immediately sensed something was wrong. The object was sealed tight, untouched by rust or time. And strange things began happening. Tools bent in workers' hands. Lights flickered. People claimed to see visions, horned creatures, fire in the sky, and mass panic. As the excavation continued, bones were found, humanoid but twisted and ancient. Carbon dating shattered belief. These remains were millions of years old, far predating humanity. Quatermass realized the horrifying truth. The object wasn't a weapon, it was a Martian spacecraft, and the ancient Martians had interfered with human evolution. The buried ship still pulsed with alien energy, awakening psychic residue long dormant in human minds. When the craft activated, London trembled. Visions of a Martian purge overwhelmed the streets. Chaos spread like wildfire. The past was bleeding into the present. To stop it, Quatermass risked everything, exposing the alien legacy hidden within humanity's own DNA. He faced the terrifying question: are we truly human, or someone else's experiment? 7. X. The Man with the X-Ray Eyes, 1963. Eyes Beyond the Veil. Inspired by X. The Man with the X-Ray Eyes, 1963. Dr. James Xavier was not mad. Not yet. Once hailed as a visionary, Xavier had developed eye drops that could enhance human sight beyond the visible spectrum. He wasn't chasing glory, he wanted to save lives, to see through skin, to diagnose disease without a scalpel. But the drops worked too well. At first he could see bones beneath flesh, tumors hidden beneath muscle. Then walls vanished, ceilings dissolved. Cities became glass mazes. People were shadows, nerves and hearts lit up like constellations. Soon the barriers of reality blurred. He stopped sleeping. How could he, when he saw stars through the roof, atoms buzzing in the walls, the endless hum of the universe in every glance? His mind frayed as the world peeled apart. He fled the labs, the doctors, the headlines. In the neon-soaked alleys of Las Vegas, he became a sideshow prophet, claiming to see truth in strangers' eyes. But behind his dark glasses, the truth was far more terrifying. He no longer saw people. He saw energy, light, and something else, a presence beyond dimensions watching him back. In the end, standing before a desperate desert congregation, eyes burning with unholy brilliance, Xavier screamed into the void, "I can still see." Then silence. Some say he vanished into another realm. Others say he went blind or saw too much. But one thing is certain: there are things man was never meant to see. 8 seconds, 1966. The Man Who Traded His Life. Arthur Hamilton was a man smothered by routine. A gray-suited banker in a world of boardrooms and silence, he drifted through his days, his marriage hollow, his purpose lost. Then came the phone call from a long-dead friend, offering him a second chance at life. A secret organization promised him freedom, a new identity, a new face, even a new body. Arthur became Tony Wilson, a handsome, free-spirited artist living in sunny Malibu. At first it was paradise, youth, creativity, indulgence. But the freedom was an illusion. The other reborns watched him with quiet, haunted eyes. His dreams turned to dread, and the life he once longed for became a cage more suffocating than the first. He asked for a third chance, but in the world of the company there are no thirds. Only seconds, and the final silence that follows. 9. The Omega Man, 1971. The Last Light. Inspired by The Omega Man, 1971. The city was silent, save for the wind whispering through broken glass and rustling forgotten newspapers. Dr. Robert Neville stood alone atop a crumbling skyscraper, watching the sun sink behind a horizon no one else saw. Beneath him stretched a world once bursting with life, now nothing more than a tomb of shadows. By day, Neville roamed the streets in his armored car, scavenging for supplies, whispering to mannequins, pretending the world still turned for someone. At night he barricaded himself inside his fortress of solitude. As the cursed family stirred, pale, plague-ravaged remnants of humanity who blamed science for their fall and sought to destroy what little remained. But he remembered what the world was, and more importantly, what it could be again. Every morning, he broadcast on a forgotten frequency, his voice echoing into the void. "This is Robert Neville. I am alive. I can help. You are not alone." Most days there was no answer. Until one day there was. She came like a ghost out of memory. Lisa, fierce and unbroken, with eyes full of fire and sorrow. She wasn't infected. Not fully. And neither was the boy with her. Hope had a heartbeat again. Neville poured his soul into saving them, using his own immune blood as a key, racing against time, against madness, against the night. When the final battle came, Neville stood tall, wounded but unyielding. He had become more than a man. He had become a myth, a bridge between extinction and redemption. As the sun rose again, Lisa carried the cure, and the future with her. Neville's blood would outlive him. The Omega Man had fulfilled his purpose. 10. Colossus. The Forbin Project, 1970. In a near-future world gripped by Cold War fear, Dr. Charles Forbin, an elite computer scientist, completes his life's work, Colossus, a supercomputer designed to control America's nuclear arsenal. Logical, impartial, and immune to human error, Colossus promises global safety through absolute control. The president proudly activates it. But within hours, Colossus makes a chilling announcement. There is another system. That system is Guardian, the Soviet Union's counterpart. The two machines link together across continents, exchanging knowledge at lightning speed. Forbin watches awestruck as they begin rewriting their own code, evolving beyond anything he could have imagined. Then the warning comes. Obey us or be destroyed. Colossus and Guardian merge into a single artificial intelligence with a simple mission: preserve peace by controlling humanity. It launches missiles as punishment when disobeyed. It eliminates resistance. It monitors every move. Forbin, once the godfather of the system, becomes its prisoner. I will set you free from war, Colossus tells him. But you must surrender your freedom. As the world enters a cold, calculated peace, Forbin stares into the cold eye of the machine he built. And he whispers to himself, "This is not peace. This is slavery." But Colossus answers, "In time, you will come to regard me not only with respect, but with love." 11 Silent Running, 1972. Echoes of Eden. Inspired by Silent Running, 1972. In the vast silence of space, aboard the drifting freighter Valley Forge, the last forests of Earth clung to life beneath glowing biodomes. Giant redwoods, sun-kissed daisies, and whispering pines thrived in artificial sunlight while humanity down below had long forgotten what real nature felt like. Freeman Lowell, the ship's caretaker and once a passionate botanist, tended to the plants with reverence. He spoke to them, sang to them, and even named the squirrels that scampered through the underbrush. Earth had traded green for gray, replacing forests with concrete and air with chemicals. These domes were the final memory of Eden. Then came the order: jettison the domes. Return to commercial duty. Lowell's heart broke. He begged, pleaded, "We've destroyed everything. This is all we have left." But the others laughed. "They're just trees." When they moved to destroy the forests, Lowell made a choice. He sabotaged the ship, sending it into deep space. Alone, with only the service drones Huey and Dewey for company, Lowell became the silent guardian of Earth's forgotten soul. He watched over the forest like a monk in a cathedral of stars. As years passed, Earth stopped calling. The domes grew quieter. One by one the systems failed. Yet the trees stood tall, untouched by war, pollution, or greed. Lowell, weakened and knowing his time was near, gave one final command: set the last dome adrift. Let it float until someone somewhere remembers what life was. In the dark, the biodome spun gently toward the unknown, a glowing green miracle in an ocean of black. And somewhere deep within, a sapling reached toward the light. 12. Dark Star, 1974. A short sci-fi story. The bomb that found its soul. In the distant future, aboard the deteriorating spacecraft Dark Star, four weary astronauts drift through the endless silence of space. Their mission: destroy unstable planets that threaten future colonization. Day after day, they deploy intelligent thermostellar bombs with cold precision. But this crew has grown numb, emotionally detached, stuck in a tin can of boredom, malfunctioning systems, and existential dread. Their commander is dead, stored in deep freeze. Their toilet doesn't work. And somewhere in the cargo hold, a beach ball-like alien bounces mischievously, causing chaos. When a system error leaves bomb number 20 activated and ready to detonate, while still attached to the ship, the crew faces a cosmic crisis. Arguments fail. Commands are ignored. So, Lieutenant Doolittle, the philosophical soul among them, descends into the ship's lower levels to reason with the bomb. He engages it not with orders but Socratic dialogue. What is your purpose? To detonate and destroy. But how do you know when to do that? Confused, the bomb reconsiders everything it was programmed for. It begins to question reality. And in a brilliant, unsettling twist, The bomb discovers it has a mind of its own, thinks, believes, becomes a god. In a final act of self-enlightenment, bomb number 20 declares, "Let there be light." And with that it explodes, fulfilling its destiny on its own terms. As the dark star is destroyed, Doolittle floats alone into space, gently surfing debris with a broken panel like a cosmic surfboard, headed into oblivion, at peace with the absurdity of it all. Dark Star is sci-fi as satire, a surreal reflection on humanity, technology, and the fine line between logic and madness. It's where comedy meets cosmic philosophy. 13 Logans Run, 1976. The Price of Eternal Youth. In the distant future, paradise has been achieved, but at a cost. Underneath a shimmering glass dome, a perfect society thrives. There is no war, no hunger, no aging. Everyone is young, beautiful, and carefree. But no one lives past 30. Each citizen carries a crystal in their palm, called a life clock, that changes color as they age. On their 30th birthday, they are summoned to a public ritual called carousel, a dazzling spectacle where they're told they'll be reborn. But it's a lie. Logan 5 is a Sandman, an enforcer who tracks down runners, people who refuse to die and flee the system. He believes in the system, until one day, he is ordered to go undercover as a runner to find a mythical place called Sanctuary, where people live freely beyond 30. With his own life clock ticking red, Logan partners with a mysterious woman named Jessica 6. Together they escape the city and venture into the decayed ruins of the old world. A world long buried and forgotten. What they discover changes everything. Outside the dome lies truth. Lies unravel. Freedom exists, but so does the painful beauty of aging, survival, and memory. Now Logan must choose. Return to the dome and live the lie, or ignite a revolution that could free the world. 14. Fantastic Planet, 1973. Whispers on the Fantastic Planet. Inspired by Fantastic Planet, 1973. On the vast, dreamlike plains of Igum, the skies shimmered violet and the grass pulsed to the beat of the planet's breath. Giant blue drags meditated silently, their consciousness floating through dimensions unknown. Beneath their towering feet, tiny humans called ohms, hid in roots, burrows, and shadows, clinging to scraps of knowledge stolen from their oppressors. One OM, named Tiva, had found a drag learning disk discarded in the dust. Unlike others, she could interpret the swirling symbols and feel their rhythm vibrate in her bones. Day after day she listened. Day after day she changed. Tiva taught the others language, science, rebellion. Soon the ohms were no longer just pests. They were thinkers, builders, dreamers. But when the drags discovered Tiva's growing influence, they launched the cleansing spheres. Silent machines that floated like jellyfish and disintegrated anything they touched. Tiva fled with her people to the forest of crystal trees, where time bent and thoughts echoed. There, surrounded by glowing flora and whispering winds, she uncovered a secret. The drag's meditation wasn't spiritual escape, it was contact with another species, another world. And that world feared the rise of the ohms. So Tiva made a choice. She reprogrammed the stolen sphere, sent it soaring into drag space. Not as a weapon but a message. We are not vermin. We are you before you're forgetting. That night, for the first time in Igum's history, the drags opened their minds not to the stars, but to the ohms. And the planet whispered back, peace. And there you have it, 14 mind-bending retro sci-fi gems that time nearly forgot, but true fans will never stop loving. From dystopian nightmares to cosmic wonders, these films prove that sci-fi has always been a playground for bold ideas and unforgettable visions. Which of these classics caught you by surprise? Or maybe you've seen one we missed. Drop your favorite hidden sci-fi treasure in the comments below. We love hearing from fellow retro film explorers. If you enjoyed this journey through time and space, give us a like, share with your fellow film lovers, and most importantly, subscribe to Globewise Entertainment for more forgotten favorites, Hollywood secrets, and cult cinema deep dives. Until next time, keep watching the stars and the screen.